Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal Podcast, episode 999. No job is safe. Of course, this is your host, Ril Dil Quinn. 1 week away from episode 1000. So definitely excited for that as we discuss the world of sports and pop culture. Heavy NBA and NCAA tournament week. Of course, the Final Four is coming up. The NBA has about 2 weeks left in its regular season as they get ready for the playoffs and the play-in and then the playoffs. We'll talk about some things that the NBA, or one thing in particular, the NBA could tweak to make the game not a product on the floor, but maybe it could take some pressure off the regular season. Maybe a tweak to the regular season. I'm not even call it fixing the NBA, just improving the NBA. But as always, you can like, subscribe, or share this podcast. Your support is appreciated, is necessary. Um, again, 1,999 episodes. You have supported me since 2008. And again, I definitely appreciate all your support. We begin with the Final Four. So you have four number one seeds in the Final Four. First time since 2008. This was absolutely, positively the best case scenario that the Final Four that the NCAA tournament could have gotten. It has not been a great tournament to me. I understand it's been, a top heavy dominated tournament. The SEC has dominated all the big teams for the most part, dominated. You had a couple upsets here and there, but really, as far as storylines, as far as intrigue, the tournament has been ho hum. Now the Sweet 16 was great. That Friday night was great. That Duke Arizona game was a classic. Caleb Love, who has a tendency to perform on the big stage. We saw that in North Carolina in 2022 when he killed Duke in the Final Four game with 28 points. He scores 35 points in a losing effort. Under like Arizona team that was good, but they really pushed Duke to the limit. And again, you saw just a great Sweet 16 with some of the results. Auburn, Purdue, some of those games going right down to the wire. The Arkansas, the great comeback that you saw with Texas Tech taking out Arkansas, coming back from way behind. So great, great Sweet 16, subpar Elite Eight. That leads us to again four number ones, basically Duke and the SEC, and a team in Houston, which I'm gonna talk more about because I don't think that they are getting maybe nationally. I think this is a big time team. Um, so we go into the Final Four. Duke is the favorite. They should be the favorite. They have the most pros on their team. They have at least three or four guys, maybe four guys that will end up playing in the NBA someday. Two for sure lottery picks in Flag and Knipple. And they have been, to me, from start to finish, the most impressive team. As hard as it is for me to say as a Tar Heel fan, but I just have to call it the way I see it. The most impressive team in the tournament. They completely took apart Alabama. I mean, took Alabama. And remember, this is an Alabama team that was in the Final Four last year. This is an Alabama team that I picked to get to the Final Four this year. But they took apart Alabama in that game. That game was over with within the first 10 minutes of that game. Alabama was playing from behind, was in chase mode throughout. And it was a game where even Flag was even great. It was the role players and Knipple, who was the best player on the floor. So you had that going on with Duke. Of course, you had two SEC teams. Should be no surprise considering they had 14 in the tournament. Now, again, these are not the two that I picked. I picked Tennessee and Auburn. Excuse me, Tennessee and Alabama. But I thought two SEC teams would get there. Florida had a classic, tremendous comeback by Florida. Florida has had two gut check games, two games where I've seen number one seeds fall apart and lose. The the second round games against Connecticut, and of course the game against Texas Tech where they were down double digits in the last 45 minutes. Both games they have played. They have been the best clutch team in this tournament. So Florida, give Florida a lot of credit from that standpoint. You saw Auburn gut out a win against Michigan State with their best player being, hurting himself with the arm injury. So we'll see how healthy he is. Jahani Brahm, we'll see how he'll get some strong consideration for Player of the Year for sure. He's without question their best player, one of first team All American player. So again, this Final Four has a lot of there's a lot to this Final Four from a standpoint of again Flag being made being the number going to be the number one pick, the rise of the SEC. But I just want to talk a minute about Houston. Houston, uh, you look at Houston the last 5 years, right? And I was going through it. First of all, Kelvin Sampson is going to be hard. Like this is be his third Final Four. He's approaching 800 wins. He is, I don't want to say underappreciated, but like, dude, he's won everywhere he's gone. Like Kelvin Sampson has won everywhere he's gone. Deserves a tremendous amount of credit for revamping this program. Um, you look at Houston's last 5 years, or last 6 years, I should say, right? 33-4. They get to the Sweet 16. Of course, the COVID year, no postseason. Uh, 28-4, Final Four in 21, 32-6, Elite Eight, 33-4, Sweet 16, 32-5, Sweet 16, 34-4. They get to the Final Four. I mean that is that's a great 5 year stretch, especially now in the NIL transfer portal. Uh, transfer portal NIL, what that has done to college sports. And his teams play hard. They're physical. They're always amongst the best defensive teams. They took Tennessee apart. A very good Tennessee team. A Tennessee team that was a Final Four caliber team. What they did to Tennessee in the first half, I mean, Tennessee could not run their offense. They completely took them out of their offense. It held Tennessee to 15 points in the first half. 15 points. This is a Tennessee team that, came in averaging like 74 points a game. We know Tennessee can score, can put a bunch of score in a hurry. They completely took them out of that game. And I think again, Duke is the favorite, but I'm telling you right now, that's going to be a war between Houston and Duke. That is a rough game. Duke could be the best team, but you got to question how much Duke will have left on Monday night. I think the winner of the Florida Auburn game has an enormous advantage on Monday night because that Duke Houston game is going to be. I think it's going to be physical. I think Houston can make you play ugly. They are a tough losing type team. Duke has better players. We understand Duke has better talent. That's not even a question. But Houston can take you out your game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Houston was standing the last team standing on Monday night. But the winner of that Auburn Florida game will have an enormous advantage for two reasons. Number one, they're playing early. I always thought that in the Final Four, if you play the first game, I always thought that was an advantage considering the quick turnaround. So you go from Saturday, in essence, basically a 36-hour turnaround. You go from Saturday to Monday night. So you get to the 6 o'clock game early. You win that game. If you win that game, you get more rest and preparation time as the other two teams battle it out late late Saturday night and late Saturday night with the quick turnaround. So if Houston were to win, the winner of the Duke, the Houston Duke game is the late game. The winner of the Florida Auburn game will get more time rest, and will be able to watch Duke and Houston basically, beat the living daylights out of each other because that's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a physical game. I don't care. Houston will take you out of your game. They will physically take you out of your game. You look at what Houston has done. Let me give you Houston's losses this season. Houston. So just to get you a good sense of how great they've been this year. They lost to Auburn by 5 in a neutral site. They lost to Alabama in overtime, neutral site. They lose to San Diego State in overtime, neutral site. Outside of that, their only loss is Texas. Outside of that, their only loss is Texas Tech. And we know how good Texas Tech is. They got to Elite Eight, and that was in overtime. Think about that for a second. That was in overtime, and I believe uh that was at home. So Texas Tech beats Houston at home. They have not lost since February 1st. Um, Now again, the conference is not great. We know I mean, the conference. Well, the conference is not bad either. The conference is not great, but it's okay. The conference is okay. I mean, the conference is it's an okay conference. Um, that conference was better this year. I mean, you had Arizona, BYU, some good teams. I mean, they beat everybody. They beat Arizona twice. They, Kansas in that conference. Kansas was down this year. Baylor was down, wasn't the same team this year. So you had a rise with Colorado and BYU, but they beat everybody. And again, they had a tough game against Gonzaga in the second round. They had a tough game. They had a battle against Purdue, so they're battle tested. And of course, they took apart Tennessee in the Elite Eight. This Houston team is a very good team. Like I said, they outside of Duke, I would pick Houston. I really believe that more than likely, the winner of the Duke Houston game is going to win the championship. Um, though if it's So I really believe that, despite the fact that I think that how physical that game is going to be, and that's no disrespect to Auburn and Florida coming out the SEC, but I think the two best teams right now are Duke and Houston are playing the best right now. Again, Duke has the best player. Flag is the best player remaining in the tournament. It's not even close. I think Duke top to bottom has the best team. I think if you look at coaching, I think Sampson is the best coach, to be honest with you, remaining out of those four. He's been to the Final Four now, what, 3 times? Shire has been twice. Uh, this is Golden's first trip to the Final Four, and this is Bruce Pearl's second. Of course, they went back in 2019 with Auburn. Auburn really should have beat Virginia, if you remember, in that in that national semifinal. They blew that game late in that particular game. So should be a fun Final Four. It's been a long time since we got a classic Final Four. It's been a long. I mean, I can't. It's been like decades. I mean, usually, you'll get one good game, but it's very rare to get 3 very good games. I think we have the potential for that. I really do. I think these teams. I know Duke has the most talent, but I think there's a lot. When you get 4 number 1 seeds, it's a lot of balance. Duke has the best talent. The SEC has been the best conference, and right now, I can make a case that Houston is playing the best. So let's go around the NBA. Around the NBA, this will also be the deep dive as well. Um, well, no, we'll just go around the NBA, then we'll do the deep dive. So Memphis gets rid of its coach, um, Taylor Jenkins, after 6 seasons. Taylor Jenkins is the winningest coach in the history of the franchise. Uh, they had back-to-back seasons in 22 and 23 where they were the number 2 seed. They seemed to be a team that back in the 21-22 season when they lost to Golden State in 6 games, that if I were to project the direction they were headed in, I would say that they would be next in line to be one of the great teams in the NBA, to be a championship caliber team by now. That has not happened. We are well aware of what transpired with John Morant, his off the court stuff. injuries. They come into this shit. First of all, this was, I want to say, poorly handled from the standpoint of if you're going to fire the entire coaching staff of a guy outside of him, then you probably want to get rid of the coach as well. Like, I don't understand how you basically cut a coach's balls off and expect that to be a functioning situation throughout the course of a season into the playoffs. They fired this. They fired Taylor Jenkins's entire assistant coaching staff. You bring in these two high priced coaches who are supposed to be offensive gurus. You have two or three different offensive systems going on. It just this was. I actually have more respect for Taylor Jenkins considering their record. I don't care what it was against 500 teams, considering that he had to coach through John Morant only missing over 30 games, 21 different starting lineups. You having your general manager, your office, your front office tell you, no, you're going to run this offense. Think about that. He wasn't even running the offense that he wanted to run. He had to run the offense that he was told to run. And that's just a recipe for disaster. Like it's not how you win. You're not going to win anything just in the long, short, or long term. Running an organization that way. And again, Memphis has been a very good organization. The general manager is good. He's good at drafting, developing. They're good at developing talent. They got one of the problems is they have too many good players. To be honest with you, but the way this was handled was completely mishandled. I would not have fired Chris if I wouldn't have fired Taylor Jenkins with 2 weeks to the playoffs. I would if I was out on Taylor Jenkins, I'm getting rid of him before the season. Like just pure you know what? If I'm getting rid of his entire coaching staff, then why not get rid of the coach? To me, like it seems like you've been wanting to fire this dude from the beginning of training camp, from last summer that you wanted was out on Taylor Jenkins. Taylor Jenkins is only 40 years old, by the way, and will have a job of his choosing next season for sure. Like he's a well respected coach and a very good coach. Um, Now again, there's a couple things going on here. Number one, the big picture. Memphis isn't going anywhere. Like they're not. They're you know 6-10 in their last 16 games. They lost to the Celtics Monday night. Um, they our team, we know, have a lot of talent. They have three very good players, two All Stars. Bane is a borderline All Star. But the bottom line is, John Morant can't stay on the floor. And John Morant, let's put aside the off the court stuff. He has regressed as a player, considering where he was at in 2022. He just has. He's going from a All NBA caliber player, a top 10 MVP, to a guy who, wasn't even an All Star this year. Again, does not play enough, and has put up some decent numbers, but just has not been the same player. And you have some major question marks about what his future will be in Memphis. Again, he's still very young. He's only 25 years old, believe it or not. But I question. I don't think he could be the best player on a championship team, and I question whether or not they should. I would seriously consider taking a look at moving him in the off season. Like that's where I would be at. To be honest with you, I think right now you ask me who I trust between the two. Between he and Jaren Jackson Jr. It's Jaren Jackson Jr. It's not even close. Now I'm not saying Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. will certainly make All NBA this year, but I'm not saying Jaren Jackson Jr. should be your best player on a championship team. But right now, he by far is the most trustworthy of their top three players. Bane is a very good number three above average role player. Bane is very, very good. He's not. I shouldn't even call him a role player. He is a excellent number three. He's a perfect number three. In the ideal world, Jaren Jackson would be a legit number two. But right now they just don't have a number one. And I don't think John Moran is a number one right now. A guy, the Ringer always has this list of top 100 players. They recently updated it on March 27th. They had John Moran 21. 21. And, if I would told you that, like I said, in 2022, if I told you John Morant would be the 21st ranked player in the league, you would have laughed at me. You would have laughed at me. You would have said he would be top five or at worst top 10. And they're probably right. He's probably in that 20, he's probably in that, 21 to 25 range right now. He cannot stay on the floor. Can't. Like, and again, if you're getting injured at 25, 24, 25, you don't get older and start getting healthier. You just don't. He's never played 70 games in his career. He's 6 years into his career. He's never played 70 games in his career, ever. So the Memphis situation will be something to watch in the off season. They are, to me, a one and done. They can fall to the plan, even if they don't fall to the plan. I don't trust this team at all in the playoffs whatsoever. I think anybody would love to play Memphis in the playoffs. They're not built for the half court. Defensively, they've slipped enough. Defensively, they're not the same team that they were earlier in the season. So this team has one and done, absolutely written all over. Before I get to who won the week, I want to get to the deep dive. You heard a lot of complaining about the NBA this season for with the ratings, style of play, 3-point shots, load management, so on and so on. I was just thinking about what could be tweaked in the NBA and what could be immediately tweaked in the NBA. Also, you could toss in um, tanking as we wind down the NBA season. A lot of these games where you've had lineups and teams unrecognizable because stars are either hurt, players are sitting, teams are absolutely trying to tank, to get Cooper Flag or even a top five or even a lottery pick. This is considered to be a strong, above average, a very good draft. So that's been a major problem. The solution I'm providing will not solve all of those problems, but it will, I think, help a lot. I believe that the NBA season should be pushed back to Memorial Day. Excuse me, pushed back to Christmas Day. You start the NBA Christmas Day, and you end the NBA. You start the playoffs Memorial Day weekend. You cut the NBA season from 82 to 75 games. I am. This was the toughest part of this for me to cut. Because I'm a strict advocate of 82 games. I don't believe that the grind should be easy. There's a reason why there's a select few players who get to this level, and it's supposed to be hard. The 82 game is supposed to be a grind. It's supposed to be hard. These guys get millions of dollars to train their bodies. They got the best of everything. So I don't believe it's supposed to be easy. And I'm not. It was hard for me to cut the season by 7 games. But I said, okay, to be fair, I said I will cut it 7 games. So we start Christmas Day. We have Memorial Day. Let's say, for example, it will have where it happened this year. It's not, but for just hypothetically speaking, the play-in begins May 20th, have it through the 23rd. Have the play-in from the 20th to the 23rd. Then you would start the real playoffs again on Memorial Day weekend, which is my calendar here. Memorial Day weekend. 24th, yes, 24th through the 26th is Memorial Day weekend. So you run that, start the playoffs Memorial Day weekend. You can end the season will be over by really, I mean, by the end of July. So what does this do, right? How is this beneficial to the NBA? you may ask. The most important thing is you will only be competing against the NFL in the month of January. Okay. So October and November, I'm standing clear of the NFL. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So I only have to compete with the NFL. Of course, the NFL, of course, Christmas Day, and only on weekends in January. Only on weekends in January. So my playoffs start, right? I don't have to work. The playoffs start in May. I have May to myself. I have June. I have June to myself. I have July to myself. Now, who's going to watch basketball in the summer? Why wouldn't you watch basketball in the summer? People just don't like. People say, "Well, people are traveling." Well, hello, it's 2025. I can watch a game anywhere. I can watch a game on my phone, tablet. I can watch a game anywhere. I don't need to be at home to watch a game. Like that's the NBA is has been on the cutting edge as far as from a digital standpoint, online and things of that nature, NBA.com and League Pass and all that good stuff. So the NBA from a digital standpoint is one of the best sports out there. Period. They are great online. So you can watch. When the contracts kick in with Prime, you can watch it on your phone. You can watch the NBA anywhere, anytime, anywhere. So people would watch basketball, especially playoff basketball, on their vacations. Like that would not hurt the ratings whatsoever. And again, get that you would not be competing against if you started the season, if you started the NBA season, and if you start the playoffs at the end of April, at the end of May, you wouldn't be competing against this stuff. So I that's what that would be my improvement to the NBA, starting it later, ending it later, and again avoiding the NFL, avoiding the NFL. And I'm telling you, your ratings would go, the ratings would skyrocket avoiding the NFL. Again, I don't. The load management thing to me is just these teams are going to have to figure that out. The NBA is going to have to figure that out. But again, I'm giving you seven less games, and I'm giving you a possible. I'm giving you a longer. I'm giving you seven less games, and you're still going to have your full off season in terms of recovery. Again, the most important thing about this is you're avoiding the NFL from a rating standpoint. You can have the entire you have June you have June and July to yourself mostly for the most part. The NHL, if you can't beat the NHL out in the ratings with the Stanley Cup, then I don't know what to tell you. If you can't beat regular season Major League Baseball out, then I don't know what to tell you. If you can't, forget about tennis. Like forget about the golf. If you can't, like, the NBA should be able to dominate the ratings in June and July. It should be able to dominate the ratings from that standpoint. And again, cutting seven games is enough to where advertisers and money won't be lost from that standpoint, where television networks won't go crazy and say, "Hey, there's less games." There's only seven less games, and we're only in the summertime, so it's not like pipe down. It's not like we're cutting it. We're not cutting it to 65 or 60 games. I mean, again, the 65 games is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, what are we talking about here? Only playing 65 games. That's insane. No, we're not doing that. You're gonna play 75 games. Period. I'm really surprised how many players, you hear players who, and these are maybe played in the early 2000s, that really, it's really become a mentality now to players really don't care for the 82 games, and I don't understand. I don't know if I won't say it's a lack of love for the game, but I just hear the mentality of some players talking, the season could be a drag and things of that nature. I don't, again, I just don't get it. I don't get this. Again, I didn't grow up on this kind of talk, hearing this kind of talk from like Michael Jordan's, Magic Johnson's, and guys like that. Those guys wanted to play every single night. I don't buy the standpoint that it's harder to play basketball now than it was 20, 25 years ago. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. These guys have too many advantages from a medical standpoint, from just how many like nutrition and all that. They have too many advantages. And I think to be honest with you, the NBA from a scheduling standpoint has given them too much in some ways. To be perfectly honest with you. And I think again, these teams are in a lot of these guys' heads in regards to that, not only analytics, but in regards to just, hey, you might need a game off and things of that nature. I really think that it's kind of that, the load management thing was a killer for the NBA. It was an absolute killer. I know San Antonio used it and ended up winning a championship with it in 2014 with the finals in 20. They had enormous success when they started it. They in 2013 they went to the finals in 2013, 2014, won a championship in 2014. But everybody ran with it, and it hasn't ruined the sport, but it really has put a dent in the sport. To where you have too many guys, it's in particular star players missing games. It's really very, very problematic to say the least. As far as who won the week, Oklahoma City won their 10th game, are now the winners of 10 in a row. They are now 63-12 on the season. They have a number 3 offensive rating, number 1 defensive rating, a 13 point differential, which would be an all time record. During their 10-game winning streak, they have a 18 point. They have a they have destroyed people by an average of 18 points a game. 6 of the top 10 point differentials of all time. If you look at the top 10 point differentials of all time, 6 of those teams have went on to win championships. The one chink in their armor is they are only 4-8 in clutch time. Clutch time, of course, is the game is within 5 points with less than 5 minutes to play. So that is the one thing that they've struggled with. 12 games, 12 clutch games, only 4-8 those games. We know a lot of playoff games tend to be close at times. We'll see how they handle, execution down the stretch. But they are clearly the team to beat the Western Conference. I mean, clearly it is Oklahoma City and everybody else. I picked Oklahoma City to get to the finals before the season started. I'm even more confident now. I'm way more confident now about them than I've ever been, even with that pick. I think this team has the eye of the tiger. I think this team, they have size now with Hartenstein and Cole and Chet Holmgren. With that duo, they can go small. You really don't want to go small with them. I mean, they can go small with anybody. And this team defensively just is suffocating. They have legitimately 5 legitimate top quality defensive players on their team. I'm looking at the Western Conference. Again, I'm sorry, I'm a Laker fan. I'm not buying the Lakers against OKC. There's no team right now. I would have said, Denver, like maybe a month ago, we have a shot. Looking at Denver right now, Denver, like, I respect Joker, but I'm telling you right now, this version of Denver is not beating OKC. I honestly believe right here, right now, the team that might have the best chance to beat OKC is Minnesota. Minnesota has the sides. Um, they were in the conference finals last year. They're playing well in the last month. I really think that Minnesota might have the best chance to beat them, to beat OKC. I don't trust the Clippers with Kawhi. You never know with Kawhi. I know the Clippers have been great over the last month or so as well, and could be dangerous if Kawhi is healthy. But the team that I would trust the most and giving OKC their best series would be Minnesota right now. To be perfectly honest with you, and I listen. I don't. I'm not asking anybody, telling anybody that you should gift wrap the Western Conference, or even NBA championship to OKC. They still got to go out there and do it. But this 63-12 is a real thing. This is not just one of these. I mean, they're doing this in the Western Conference, and they're destroying people. They're destroying, and they have the MVP of the league, a guy who's been the second best player in the world this year, and is going to be first team All NBA for a third straight year. It's going to be the MVP this year, and they have again, they have a team of just tremendous defensive players. Now again, we will see in a series, you know, Who that second guy will be, um, I think Chet Holmgren has to be their second best player. I'm not saying from an opposite standpoint. I'm just saying all around as far as impact. I really believe he has to be their second best player in order for them to win a championship. But this is a deep team. This is a team that can change up how they play and can match up with anybody depending on the series. They can have guys that can play one series who might not play in another series. They have more of those guys than just about any team in the league. Matter of fact, they have more of those guys than any team in the league. So I'm all in on OKC. I really am all in on them. And I would be borderline. I'd be shocked if they didn't at least at worst get to the finals. Now beating Boston, we'll see. We'll see. Beating Boston is a whole nother world. Really, and nothing to talk about in regards to real thoughts. I already talked about the Final Four. We already talked about that. Um, so in terms of real thoughts, looking forward to next week's 1000th episode. Again, we've been doing this since 2008. Our first episode was October 8th, 2008. It has been a long journey, and look forward to celebrating it with you next week, April 8th, 2025. Have a great rest of your evening. So long.